should be played at high volume. This should be played at high volume. This should be played at high volume. Preferably in a residential area.
The following thoughts on Hoppe Hour do not represent Cox Media Group or its sponsoring. Anything you hear may and will be used against you. Thank you. Voted as best local podcast in Tampa Bay by the Creative Loafing.
What up? What up? What is happening? This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, and I'm very pumped about my next guest. On the phone line, he is a jack of all trades. We have writer and comic book artist Martin Dunn. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I've been wanting to expand out of the show when it comes to like interviewing comedians and interviewing radio people. And I saw that me and you both knew Mo, so I was intrigued. And I've always liked animation. Like, I'm a huge geek for Adult Swim and anime, so I definitely wanted to get you on the show, so I'm glad you're here.
Right. Well, it's funny because I'm actually working on a comic for Mo now.
Really?
Yeah, we're doing a short story for him. My studio, we're working on he wrote a script and we adapted it. I mean, I'm assuming it was like a screenplay, and then we adapted it for a comic, and then it's like it's like 6 pages. I think it's 6 pages, and it's going to be in a follow-up of I have an ongoing series called Joshua Black.
Yeah.
And I snuck it in there for him basically as a favor. My editor wasn't insanely happy about me sneaking it in there, but it's in there. So, and it was supposed to come out a couple weeks ago, but because we snuck Mo's stuff in there, it kind of pushed the book back a couple weeks. So,
what's that like when a book gets pushed back a few weeks? Do the fans get mad, or are they cool with it since they're so diehard?
It depends, man. I mean, honestly, like the bigger companies, like top 10 publishers, because I work for a couple top 10 publishers, but like, in reference to like what that terminology is, a top 10 publisher, it's pretty self-explanatory. But it's like, obviously, the big two is how they call it for Marvel and DC Comics, and then a top 10 publisher is any publisher that falls within the top 10 ranks of sales underneath that. So. The company that I've done most work with is IDW Publishing, which do like Ninja Turtles and Transformers and G.I. Joe and all that stuff. And I think they might have the Adult Swim contracts, or maybe I don't remember that. But yeah, so like basically for the bigger companies, they hate whenever there's delays. But independent comics, like Joshua Black's a creator-owned. They call it creator-owned, and that's my creator-owned series, and so. They're a little bit like fans are a little bit more even more diehards, like cult status. So they're a little bit, I guess, forgiving in the sense of like. So the thing with Joshua Black, for instance, in this situation is the last issue of Joshua Black that come out, issue 4, was actually a year ago.
Really?
Yeah, well, because I took a year off of the series to work on other stuff. Basically, I had a lot of other work coming in from other publishers and stuff, and. So I ended the first story arc, and then we're now like I guess you could say like the new series, the new arc is starting with issue 5, and that's the issue that we happen to be putting Mo's story in. So he gets the benefit of being, on that train of like people who are like, frothing at the mouth to get the new issue because they've been waiting a year for me to do a new issue. Of that book anyway. So yeah, but it's one of those things. It's always weird. You're always going to get fanboys that bitch and complain about everything. Like it's like it just comes hand in hand with what we do is people whining and complaining about everything. It's quite possibly one of my favorite things to do is to enrage fanboys because it's just funny to me. So
fanboys seem weird. Like, you have to be happy that they're reading your book. But for, like, radio, these fanboys get so into it, and they get so passionate, and it seems like that's all they have in life. Is that sort of what it's like for comic book fanboys? They just get so wrapped up in this fake world?
It's like, for us, for comics, fanboys has a negative connotation. It's more a blind... self-entitled, importance to yourself that you deserve this, that you're, and it's one of those things of, and I don't ever, go against my fan base. Like, I love my fan base. They're great. And I don't even call them fans. Like, I feel like that's kind of derogatory towards those people, because I like to just say, like, my readers or whatever, because, I'm not Stan Lee over here. So to me, it's like these people see me at these conventions all year round. They're super cool to me all the time. Some of them have, like, went, like, the extra mile and, like, hooked me up with, like, so many cool things. Just, one time we got down to this one show. I drove up north for, I think it was South Carolina somewhere, and we got there, and the convention promoter totally screwed us over, and this fan that was the newest and stuff, like, he put us up in his house. It was just this whole thing. It was really cool. So, yeah, the fans are awesome, but fanboys to me are like these blinded, they hate everything no matter what happens. They just always so – and I guess it is a passion, but I don't know. Like, I feel like it's people like so I listen to Calta every morning usually when I'm working. Usually I'll leave it on, and I hear him always talk about, like, nerds, and like, this stereotype is out there of, like, the basement dwelling comic book nerd, and that's really non-existent. It doesn't exist anymore unless the fanboys, and it's sad that those guys are the representation of what comic book readers are, because there really is this giant divide between comic book readers and comic book collectors. And even then, I don't want to throw collectors into, like, a bad pit, but a lot of collectors are only out there to try to make an extra buck by selling stuff. They go all spectators or speculators. There's always different little things. It's just like radio. Like, I'm sure you guys have 1,000 different, like, categories of situations and people and stuff. But I don't know. Like, for me, like, I started a thing called Death to Fanboys because, and it was like a podcast. We did, like, I want to say we did, like, 3 years worth of episodes before I finally just kind of got burned out and we stopped doing them. But we were up to like 72,000 listeners at one point, and that was cool. And but it was really funny. We had all these really, really big popular comic celebrities. Rob Liefeld, the guy who created Deadpool, was on there with us a few times and stuff. Like, just guys like that, and everybody got behind it because we were trying to get out there that my biggest complaint with comic book fanboys is if you were to walk into a comic shop, man, and you were like, oh, I watched the Batman movie, I want to read Batman now. These fucking idiots would be like, oh, you're not a real fan, get out of my store or whatever. And they're so stupid. And it's like, you're like, first of all, you're killing the business you supposedly love, because there goes a client, there goes a customer who might buy something. And I don't understand. I don't really understand it. I don't understand the mentality behind this, like, it's a secret, club and no one can come into our clubhouse. I've never understood that.
These are the people that have nothing going on in their lives. Either they hate their wife or they don't even have a girl, and there's just nothing going on, and they get so wrapped up in it. Like, these radio fans just, oh my God, like, they have fan clubs to get people fired. It's sad, dude, when people get so wrapped up into one thing. Like, it's not healthy to be into one thing,
Well, it's funny because I get that a lot. I actually got into comics late. I started early. It's weird. It's one of those things, like, out of high school, I was an intern for CrossGen Comics, which was in Tampa.
Yeah.
And then I chased my ex-wife. Like, I left the internship and chased my now ex-wife across the country to be with her, and when she moved to Nevada with her family, and we were like kids, like I was 18, and I said that, and it's one of the, I always look back in the retrospect and be like, oh man, that was dumb, because Marvel turned around and bought CrossGen, and all those guys ended up with jobs. So it's just one of those, like, little things, and I left and actually got into the music industry, and I was in the music industry for my major career was music. I was a producer and an engineer. That's cool. For a ton of hip-hop acts, actually, like in Chicago. And that's why it's funny. I always hear you talking about Chicago and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I lived in Chicago. I worked a lot with a lot of guys like Twista and all those guys. Oh, my God. He's my favorite rapper. On the way here, I was blaring Overnight Celebrity, dude. I love Twista. Oh, my God. It's funny. He's the guy that basically trained me on the boards. I worked with a guy named, and like I said, I don't know if you're familiar with that scene up there, but like Dead Bodies, and there's a guy named Menace.
Oh my
there's a
God,
bunch of other
dude!
guys.
You're saying all the names I like, dude. It's the best rap. Everyone talks about New York or Los Angeles. Chicago rap is where it's at, bro.
Well, and basically, like, I did stuff up there. I worked with Paul Wall. I worked with Jeezy, Joel Santana.
All the names that fell off the map, dude.
Yeah, and it's funny is because like I tell people all the time, and they're like, "Oh, who'd you work with?" And I'm like, "Well, we'll need a mop because I'll be name dropping forever." But I did that for years, man, and I got really burned out. I didn't like the scene anymore.
What happened?
It became all about. Well, to be honest, I've never been one to shy away from controversy. I really don't care, but I really got tired of cops harassing me because rappers were coming in and out of my studio all the time, and I got really, really frustrated with other like no-name rappers coming in and pointing guns at me and stuff. That got really old. And then I got arrested. That's really was it. I was done at that point. When I got arrested, I was done. I was like, I'm done with this. This is
What
so
happened,
stupid.
if you want to talk about it?
Oh, it's really stupid. It's a dumb thing. I got arrested. By the way, it has nothing to do with music when I got arrested. But I was on a contract with TVT Records, who are now bankrupt, gone. They're not even together anymore. But I was with TVT Records. They got sold out, and I was on a contract with them, and I had it was a good contract. I'll put it that way. I'm not going to say the numbers, but I was making good money, and I was with my ex-wife, and we were in a store, in a Walmart. And for some reason, I don't even know why, she tried to pocket like some sort of makeup in Walmart. I have no idea what she was thinking. And we were leaving, and it was just like immaturity and stupidity on my part. I was in my early 20s, and it's really dumb. Like, the whole thing's dumb. I got taken in for her shoplifting. I wasn't even shoplifting. I got taken in for shoplifting. And they actually didn't call it shoplifting. They said it was something called conversion, which means, I guess, that I was with. I don't know what the hell that means, to be honest. Like, I didn't know we were playing football, but conversion of some sort. And I didn't get charged. They ROR'd me, which is releasing your overcognizance. But the whole point of it, the reason that they took me in, and it was just like a horrible situation, was because I was an idiot and I didn't have my license changed from Florida to Illinois.
Oh, my
and they said I
God.
was a flight risk. They were like, "You're a flight risk. You won't show up to court." So then, like, I'm like, all right, screw it. I'll go, whatever. And, like, the cop was cool. We get there. They book me. I call my ex-wife. You want to know why she's my ex-wife? And she's like, "I'm going to leave you now."
After that, she left you after that?
Yeah, man.
Oh, my God,
kids.
you're better off. What a see you
she
next
took my
Tuesday.
kids. Well, no, it's great, too, because she took my kids, moved back to Florida while I was in jail, didn't even bail me out.
And it's her fault. Dude, it's her fault. What the fuck?
Yeah, and so I called my record label to come bail me out, get me out of there. And, dude, it took them a week to get me out of jail.
You're in jail for a week?
I sat in a drunk tank because they were overpopulated in the Cook County. They put me in county on top of that. So the whole thing was so silly to me. Like, it was dumb. And the fact that my record label didn't help me out, the fact that I was going through all of it. I mean, obviously there was emotional issues with that, just like coming out of there and being like my whole family, like my kids and her are gone. And I came back to Florida, got my kids, and they called me and they were like, "Are you gonna, you're gonna come back?" And I was like, "No, I'm gonna set up shop down here." I owed them 2 albums. I sent them one in 2010. Was the last time I did anything with music, and that was it. I started doing comics again, and it was one of those things. Like I poured a lot of my, I don't know. I guess you could say like my anger and depressions and frustrations and stuff into the art and the writing, and it kind of flowed through. And it was nice to do that again. And it's been the greatest ride, man. Like the last maybe 5 years or so have been some of the best of my life, like ever. And I don't make nearly as much money as I did when I was an engineer and a producer, but I love it. And everyone was always like, oh, but you made so much more money. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'm so much happier.
It doesn't matter about the money. Like, if you're not happy with what you're doing, the money doesn't mean anything. Like, I'm looking at your page, dude. You've done so much, man. I can definitely see that you poured in the passion after that arrest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's one of those things, like, it's always funny because I've actually, like, in the comic world, and it's really funny to me because I don't really consider myself, like, you know, like, I wouldn't say like I'm like a wimp or anything. I don't consider myself like walking around like some thug or whatever. But in the comic world, I've been painted as like this bully bad guy or something because I don't take shit from these guys.
Yeah.
Like, I get on panels. I'll have to see this YouTube video. There's this YouTube video of me basically calling this guy out on a panel. Like, I'm on a panel. There's like 400 or 500 people in this room. And this guy is up there, and I know this guy, and I really don't like this guy. And he's a liar. He lies all the time. And I don't know how he gets on these panels with us. Like, he's never done anything. He's not done anything. He's not paid any dues. He's not done shit. But he's been doing comics for 20 years, but he has no credits, man. He has done nothing. Like, nothing he's ever touched has been completed. So I'm listening to this guy spew all this garbage, and it really infuriated me. And then, like, in the middle of this panel, I just start calling him out. I'm like, you're such a fucking liar. And he's like, because he said he inked Batman, and it just set me off. I'm like, no, you haven't. And, like, I pulled up Google on my phone, and I looked his name up, and I was like, I don't see your name here. I could find anyone's name who's ever worked on the character. It's been around for 75 years. And your name, not on here.
Good.
And
I hate people that lie.
Mad.
Good for you.
And he got mad. The video is funny as hell because he gets mad and he just gets up and walks out, just leaves in the middle of a panel. But I get stuff for that all the time. Like, people will get mad at me. I embrace it. I don't care. Like, if they don't like me, they don't have to like me. I actually say this all the time. I didn't get into comics to make friends. Like, I've made friends, but I didn't get into it to make friends. I'm pretty sure you didn't get to radio to make friends.
I don't know what I got into radio for. Dude, people that are talented and creative, we get underlooked, man. Like, we are weird people. You know what I mean? Well,
and I think it's one of those collective things. I admire anyone. Like, to be honest, like I said, I listen to Calta in the morning. It's funny, like, with Mike Calta, because I didn't even know he was still on the radio. Like, it was really weird. And then years went by or whatever, and I have a really big background in independent wrestling in Florida. A lot of friends. I wrestled for 13 years. It was just like a hobby on the weekends for me, but a lot of guys I know went on to do bigger things. And some of my friends were like, oh, yeah, you know, Cowhead. And I'm like, still around with this thing. So then, like, I met Mo through a friend who owns a comic shop, actually. His name's Titan Comics in Clearwater. And at some point, like, Mo was like, oh, I want to do this comic. And it was like a year, 2 years ago when Mo talked about this comic book idea. And I didn't do it to, like, be rude. I just kind of blew him off. Not like, oh, hey, you know, fuck you, I'm not going to work in your comic. But it was like I was so busy that I was, like, unable to really help him at the time. So I was like, oh, you know, one of these days, yeah, we'll get around to it. And then I don't remember what it was, but, like, one point or another, someone was like, I think it was after the fact we started talking about him doing his book again, and we got to talking about it. And this was like November. No, it was before November. It was I know the first episode I started listening to Calta again was right after the cruise. So whenever the hell that was. And it was because Mo, I found out Mo was on the radio, and I had no fucking idea that he was on the radio at all. I had no idea he was I knew he did stand-up. That's all I knew. And I was trying to find what show he was on, so I turned on the radio that morning on iHeartRadio, and I heard Calta, and I'm like, is that? And I kept going, like, I know this guy's voice. Why do I know this guy? And I heard someone say Cowhead. It was like Cowhead TV or something. But my point was, I got on a tangent, I'm sorry, but my point was, I admire the shit out of what Calta and those guys can do, and in essence, everyone who does daily radio, more so than probably anything else, because it's so much closer to what I do, in the sense that you have to be on your game every single day. You can't just go in there and half-ass something. Like, you guys always have to go in there with content and keep the things moving and keep things funny or interesting, especially with talk radio. I mean, dude, we did a podcast, and, like, everyone's like, oh, you guys have this many listeners, and you guys did 300 episodes or however many episodes we did, and, like, like 2 or 3 years of podcasting, we did it once a week, and then it was always like a scramble to kind of come up with content to talk about. The fact these guys go in there and they're able to come up with new content every single day and keep it interesting for, however 3-4 hour blocks or whatever, to me, that's admirable. Like, I can't even I couldn't do that. And I'm a creative person. I create worlds, for God's sakes, and that's just, to me, it's insane.
Dude, I think the same thing about like Mike Calta or Drew Garabo is like, there's days I can't find anything to talk about for an hour-long podcast. I really look up to these guys that they're able to find content that brings in great ratings every day for 4 hours. That's what happens when you have a team around you that you treat well and you don't exploit them. You end up being more successful than the people that make fun of each other, the bullies. You know what I mean?
Right. It's funny, by the way, Drew Garabo. I have a funny story about him, just in like a complete I think it was weird. I got into an argument with Drew Garabo and didn't know who he was one time on like Facebook.
What happened?
A friend of mine tagged him in something and was like, "I just saw Drew Garabo at SeaWorld," and I just said, "Who's that?" And he got so offended. And I didn't know who he was. I didn't listen to the radio. Like, I never listened to radio. So I had no idea who he was. And it really offended him. It was pretty funny.
It's one of those things where if you don't know who someone looks like, it's hard. You know what I mean?
Well, I didn't even know that he was I didn't know he was a radio host or anything. I didn't know anything about that. Like, I guess this was back when he was on 97X. And a friend of mine had, like, seen him at, like, SeaWorld, and she had tagged him on Facebook. And she was like, "I just ran into Drew Garabo at SeaWorld." And I was just confused as to why she tagged some random dude. I was like, "Who?" And he got really offended by it. It was just funny. I always thought that was funny when I hear him on the radio now. I'm just like, that's funny.
How many egos do you see in the comic book world? Like, I've wanted to know, like, do some of these guys that just get huge, like, do they just kind of lose their head? You know what I mean?
It's really funny. It's not at all like that. It's more the opposite. It's really fucking weird. So the comic industry is full of pretentious, artistic types. Egotistical. Egos are everywhere, and you're going to run into egos at the top. It's always going to be there. But it's very weird that the guys who are successful are way more laid back and cool and like willing to kind of give you advice and help you out. Whereas the other guys who are like mid-tier, like guys my level and like below me, like, and not everybody, but there's just this huge amount, like ocean of these people. You got to think like there's, I don't even know, like thousands and thousands upon thousands of people trying to get into this industry. And they all act like they're the greatest gift to comics since Jack Kirby.
That's because they have no swagger and no confidence, so they're overcompensating. That's what it is.
It's weird because like a lot of them are really introverted. They have no idea how to market themselves or properly, promote themselves in a way to like get on things. They don't do things like for just even the sense of like me being on your podcast talking to you, even though like I know probably in general your demographic may have no interest in buying any of my work. I still want my name to get out there to more people because it might be that one person, Whereas like these guys, like they'll look at it and be like, "Well, you're just not going to get me any money, so I don't want to do it." And they just don't see anything like that. Like I do stuff all the time. Like I'll go to my kids' school and like read or like go to the library. They do these little like mini convention type things and go to libraries and sign books for people. And like these guys, like they all feel like they're bigger than that, and they're not. Like none of them are bigger than that. And it's so sad to me because unless your name is like Stan Lee or Todd McFarlane or any of these huge superstar names that have like transcended that media, you really don't have, the I guess you could say like the stance to say no, to publicity, to promotion, to marketing, to any of those things. So you run into it a lot. It's so crazy too because they get so like they're also I'll tell you this, the comic book industry, you guys like, all right, so you see how like I'm trying to choose my words correctly here, wisely. The whole PC movement, if you will, like the outrage industry.
Oh, the fake outrage. Everyone's a bunch of pussies.
Right. So get me here. We've been dealing with this in the comic industry for a good, like, before it blew up like the last couple years, this has been going on for a good 6 years easily in the comic industry.
Really?
Like I'll give you, it started with the girl power movement, and I'm all for, equality, and it's fine. But Image Comics had announced the list of editors for the year, like who their new editors were, and it was all white dudes, and Twitter like exploded, and it was all over because we have much like any other entertainment avenue, we have our websites and our dirt sheets, if you will, things like that. Our tabloids, like I always say, like there's a website called bleedingcool.com that's like the TMZ for comics. And anytime you do anything that could be considered like, newsworthy at all, it shows up on Bleeding Cool. I've been on there a few times for different things, whether it's controversy or, just work I'm working on or whatever. And it's one of those things of like, they constantly regurgitate this crap. And so like on Bleeding Cool, they're like, oh, Image is falling into the whole concept of just white men doing this, that, and the other. And it just became this thing. And it's been like this for years with us. So now everyone else is kind of seeing what we've been seeing. But it's just like, it's like 10 times worse with what we do now. Like you can't do anything anymore with comics. Like you get yelled at for everything. Like that's why I love creator-owned comics, because I can tell them all to go fuck themselves. I don't care.
That's what I like about you, dude, is you speak your mind. I just don't get why people get so up in arms over words. Like, who gives a fuck what somebody thinks? Like, it's just getting really bad, dude. Everything,
dude, the most mislabeled, I would say overused labels even in the comic industry are misogynist, racist, and really those two are the worst probably. But you can get other ones, but you get all these different things about like rape culture and also, and I'm not downplaying the seriousness of some of these situations, and I'm not saying that they don't exist and stuff like that. It definitely exists, but it's just like if someone writes a comic about I'll give you a good example. Mark Millar, who is the creator of like Kick-Ass and he's worked on a lot of comic stuff. He's transcended all the media. Like he created Kingsman. If you'd seen that, you saw that movie.
Yeah.
He did all these different things. Super world famous comic guy. So in Kick-Ass, he had a character in Kick-Ass 2. He had a character almost get raped was the gag, and then like the bad guy couldn't get it up, and it was like a funny joke. And like they wanted to like cut his fucking head off. They were so mad. Like, they were just like, oh, you're making light of rape and you're trying to make fun of rape. And he's like, he's a villain. He's evil. And they're like, there's other ways to go about it. And it's all these things. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, these same people don't say a word whenever, like, a dude gets his head cut off in a comic. Like, that doesn't matter. But, like, a guy can't rape a chick because he can't get it up because he's a bad guy and it's making fun of him. Then it's this horrible offensive thing. And my thing is, it's supposed to be offensive. He's the bad guy. You're supposed to hate him. And it's like, they don't get it. And I would never probably use that writing device because I feel like I'm a little bit more clever when it comes to my writing. But it's just the fact that they want to pinpoint and pick out everything. However, on the flip side, and this is where I get a lot of shit from people, and they say that I'm being a misogynist, which I don't get, is in a book I did called Carpe Noctem, which is a horror story. It was really popular last year. We did it was a 6-issue miniseries. We got it's still it's people are clamoring for us to do another one. We did it for a company called #Comic. And in that book, I had a main character who was a dude get raped by a chick, and no one said words. Like, there was no words to me. I didn't hear a word about it, not a peep. That book got great reviews. Thousands and thousands of people bought it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
not a peep. And then people say there's no double standard, and I'm like, I don't know. We had a main character. He wasn't some side character. It wasn't even like subtle. Like, we showed it. And this chick, this super, natural monster chick rapes this dude. Not a word. And to me, like, when that happened, I was like, wow, like, I really expected something. Nothing.
Do you ever
So,
find yourself getting nervous when you write this like edgy content that people will get offended and it might hurt your sales and your reputation, or do you not care in the end?
So this is the thing. I never have cared until recently, and I'll tell you why. In Joshua Black is probably one of the most controversial things I work on because it's about – a lot of people say it's sacrilege because it's about a kid that becomes God, basically. Like, he is like God. And it plays into a lot of Christian mythos and things like that, whether you believe in God or not. To me, if you can't read it for fiction, then there's something wrong with your brain. It's fiction. It's not real. So if you are religious, then it shouldn't offend you because I'm not trying to offend you. You know, I'm not going out of my way to offend you. But with Joshua Black, because of the content, people always say, like, oh, it's blasphemy and it's sacrilege and it's all these things. And I had this storyline I wanted to do in the future. It's come up a few times with my editors, and they finally talked me out of it. And then kind of what happened in France kind of wedged me out of it. I was going to make some jokes about other gods, one being, Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad or whatever. And whenever the whole thing over in Charlie Adibo happened, and the ISIS guys are just like walking around killing people in the middle of their offices and stuff, that kind of affected me a bit. We did a charity thing for that and stuff like that with them in Joshua Black because of the situation, and that affected me a lot because hits close to home. But my other fears, I have kids, and so I always worry about that. Like, is my abrasiveness and kind of willingness to just not care if that could affect their lives in some way.
But it's not like you're in porn. You're just making comics. Like, I think that's fine. I think it's more important to be outspoken and to teach your kids to be real and not to be, like, uptight. You know what I mean?
I don't. I definitely. My kids are they're very unique kids, and I don't shelter them from the world. My worry is more that someone would try to hurt my kids to get at me, and it's one of those things that go through my head sometimes because you think about it, man, like this day and age, I say this all the time. This could sound so morbid, but I think about this all the time. These mass shootings. How long until they happen at a comic convention?
That's not a bad point.
Me and my girlfriend talk about this all the time because we're in it. We this is part of our lives. So everyone else, it's like a comic convention is, Tampa Bay Comic-Con's not until August. What's he talking about? But for me, a comic convention can be every weekend. My Comic-Con season starts next month, so that means I'm going to be at a con almost every weekend throughout the year all over the country. Some of these conventions, they house 200,000-300,000 people, and they have the worst security of all time. Like, the security is horrible in these places. Like, you could literally, like, we've done it, like, where we've snuck in, like, food because they don't allow outside food. And we just throw a bunch of food in duffel bags, walk in. They don't even check your bags. They don't care. And these kids are all running around dressed in full-body costumes as Spider-Man and Deadpool and all this other stuff, and they're carrying around fake weapons that look real. You get what I'm saying? So it's always been one of those things of, like, a mass shooter could walk in and just kill a bunch of people before anyone would know it and get out before anyone knew it because he was dressed as Deadpool along with the other 4,000 people dressed as Deadpool. It's just one of those weird things that I always think about. So I'm like, man, I never want it to happen, but it makes me worry that there's not enough security at these things. Like, it doesn't feel secure enough to me.
Dude, I'm the opposite, man. I just don't think about anything. I just try to, like, go through my day and whatever happens, happens. I'm so, like, done with everything. Like, I'm not going to vote. Like, just overall, like, we're screwed. You know what I mean?
You're just ready to call it a day. You hope that the meteorite supposed to pass the Earth next year is going to hit us?
Yes. Something's going to happen within the next 40 years. Like, we just can't keep going on like this, dude. Like, it's getting bad by the day. You know what I mean? Fake outrage, social media, shootings. It's not looking good for us, bro.
Well, it's funny because, like, I don't want to get into a whole political thing, but to me, regimes are made to be overthrown, and the American government has gone on for pretty long time.
Yeah.
Compared to past regimes, and when you really think about it, and it's one of those things of in our Constitution, it even stated that if the people ever felt oppressed, they should revolt. And you see people try, or however you want to look at it, and everyone's automatically painted as terrorists or whatever have you, militants or et cetera, and all of a sudden it becomes these things. But then you have the violent stuff, and then that's what Timothy McVeigh was about. Was the guy was a political anarchist, and he wanted to start a revolution, and there was all these other elements to that, obviously. But that's really what it started out as. And there's just all these different things, and it's crazy, man. We live in a crazy world these days. So I'm with you in the sense of that. I mean, I wouldn't want it all to end because I kind of like living, but I mean, to me, it's more just a step back and see what is happening in the world and why a lot of the things are just I always make the joke. It's the media is always look at this pink elephant. It's a nice pink elephant, isn't it? And while they're showing you the pink elephant, there's something going on behind your back, and you have no idea because you're too busy looking at Kim Kardashian's ass.
I know, dude. Here's the thing. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know shit about anything going on in Washington, D.C. I'm not going to vote this year because we're all piece of shit buffoons. But I will say this. There's something about Obama. He's sort of like the backup point guard where he doesn't score a lot of points. He either helps you lose a close game or win a close game. To me, him as president, he's been all right. I voted for him. He's done enough. There's nobody out there that's running that I see as presidential material. The one I fucking despise is Ted Cruz, dude. I just don't know what's going on. There's nobody good running. There's so many people that live in America, and the best we have is Hillary Clinton, dude. We are screwed.
To me, and this is something I said recently to somebody, I think that I really do think people who discredit and say that Donald Trump can't win don't pay attention to what happens.
Trump's going to win, dude. I promise you. I really believe in my heart.
Trump can win has nothing to do with me liking Trump as a winner. The reality of it is, and this is a legitimate quote from me to another news site that asked me about the election for comic book creators' thoughts, and I said, well, we live in a country that gave the guy $100,000 to make potato salad on Kickstarter. So, I mean, meanwhile, there are people out there who can't get money to pay for cancer treatments, but we'll give a guy $100,000 to make potato salad.
And then here's the thing, too. The movie Idiocracy, I know everyone's been saying it's come to life. I've been saying that since I saw it in 2009, dude. That movie is spot on now. It's scary. It doesn't even make me laugh anymore, dude.
Dude, I've actually had people at panels ask me things like, we were up there was a guy up there that was on a panel with us that had worked on something to do with Sharknado, art direction or something, and this girl asked us if Sharknado was a documentary.
No. No. She must have the combined IQ of my cat's turd in the litter box. For somebody to think that Sharknado, okay, if it's based on a true tale, maybe then, but a documentary, what a dumb broad, and I hate being sexist, but what a dumb dirtbag. Oh my God.
I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, you're joking, right? And she's like, no, I've never seen it, but I've seen everyone talking about it. Did a tornado really suck up some sharks? And I was just like, I don't even know what to and I go, the Titanic sunk too, right? That was true. That was a true story. It was just one of those things. And I've had people like my sister, I have a younger sister. I have two younger sisters. One of them is in her early 20s and one of them is just turned 15. And my 15-year-old sister, she has a friend who actually asked me, they watched Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Yeah.
And she's like, that's not a true story, is it? And
no.
I was like, what? Did you really just ask that question? She's
you know how many people think The Walking Dead's probably real then? If this is going on, they probably think that that's just like watching the Kardashians, these morons.
Well, it's just, everything's a work, man. The whole world's a work. It's all a work.
Futurama's just a different universe. It's actually real. Fry and Bender are real. It's just not real. What dumb idiots, dude.
Now
Like,
you're knocking on that Bernstein Bears theory of different realities because of that book's name.
dude, Futurama is a show that is so underrated. Like, I've been watching it
Billy
before I
West.
go to bed. It's the greatest show.
I love that show. I actually have had plenty of conversations with Billy West.
No, I'm jealous.
He's been on my old podcast. He used to come on and talk, and he did bumpers for us and stuff. So
He's my hero,
he's a really
dude.
cool guy. He's a real cool guy. We actually got him to do a whole skit with the "Shut Up and Take My Money" gimmick. So yeah, Billy West is cool. There's a few guys actually that like voice actors that we became really cool with that would come on the show and talk to. Oh man, I forget his name. He did the Crypt Keeper. I feel bad. He used to just come on and do the Crypt Keeper voice for us all the time. But that guy was cool. But it's funny because, like, you know, you do your podcast, man, and when we're done talking, you know, I'll hit you up if you want. I'll give you some contacts and some advice on to get some of those guys, because it's not hard to get voice actors and stuff on your podcast. It really isn't. It's what they do when they're not working. Like, they just hit a podcast.
And people find it like an honor. Like, I'll have big names on here, and if you think about it, a big name in radio or a big comedian, they're not that big of a name compared to the Biebers and the Kardashians of the world. So some morning guy in Indianapolis, of course he'll be flattered that some kid in Tampa wants to get him on. Like, you know what I mean?
I got to respect your hustle, man, and you put up with a lot of shit. So the thing is because I have a history in wrestling, I always question everything to work. I told Mo I was going to ask you this.
What's up?
Is the heat you get on Calta's show legit?
Here's the thing.
I have to know.
Here's the thing. Everybody asks me, everything that happens on the Mike Kelta show is legit, but I've learned to take it with a grain of salt and realize that it's radio and everyone there, they're all good people. I've worked on radio shows before where it's the guy who's the host is the smartest in the room and everybody's the minion. But the situations on Kelta are real, but I respect him so much because he cares about everybody. So that's how I see it as.
Yeah. Well, you can tell Mike's a good guy. Like, I don't know him, but you can just, he has that demeanor about him.
He's helped me so much. Him and Rob have been gracious to me.
Yeah, it's funny because, like, I listen to it. It's really weird when you listen to a radio, because I don't know how many people out there listen all the way through like I do, because, I get up, I take my kids to school, it's on the radio. I get home, I turn on the iHeartRadio gimmick on my TV in my office, and I listen to it pretty much until. It's not even a knock on those guys on Roger and JP, but I'll usually listen to it till the after show's off, and then I'll change it to like whatever show I want to listen to while I'm drawing or writing or working or whatever. And but it's usually my morning routine now is listen to Calta. Since, like I said, whenever Calta's cruise was when I first started listening. It's really weird listening to them every day, and obviously they have no idea who I am, but it feels like you know them. It's really weird feeling. I don't know how to explain it. It always makes me feel creepy because it's like I know so much about these people's lives, how much of it is real and how much is entertainment, because it's so weird. I hear them every day, and they have no idea who I am.
That's the best part about radio is all the fans like you embrace it so much that that's the fuel to the fire that pushes these guys and pushes me. As if it wasn't for you guys listening, we would be some other Joe Schmo talking into the microphone, you know?
Well, I'll give you this. I will tell you this, and this is whether it's a good way or a bad way. I love like football Punch Monday stuff to listen between you and Galvin. It's probably my favorite part of the show. So you versus Galvin is quite possibly my favorite part of the show. And like I always make like have these thoughts where I'm like, I have a lot of connections in the independent wrestling scene. They should have these two wrestle. Like, my God, like the two of you. And then, like, the accidental punch thing or whatever was probably the funniest thing I'd ever heard in my life.
Dude, I'm so uncoordinated that happened on accident, but I redeemed myself sort of this morning. It was ridiculous.
I heard it. I just thought it was so funny. I actually sent a tweet to Calta, and I was like, was that a karma punch? Because, my God, like, I was like...
Well, that's the thing, too. Galvin's great, man. Like, he bought me shoes when I first moved to town. Like, it's all in good humor. You know what I mean? Like, everybody here in Tampa is legit.
Well, the thing is like the reason I like his show so much, Calta's show, and I know it's your podcast. I want to sit here and talk about Calta all the time. The reason I like Calta's show, though, is it makes me think of my buddies in wrestling, honestly. And I know Calta has a lot of friends in wrestling and stuff, so I wonder if that's kind of like just a thing. But all we do is sit around and bust each other's balls. Like my best friend is a wrestler from South Florida, and he came up from Miami to hang out this past weekend and stuff and visit. I haven't seen him in a year. And we were hanging out and stuff, and like the whole time, like he's got his new girlfriend, and the whole time I'm just sitting there making fun of him. And I was thinking about it. I was like, this is all we do is make fun of each other. And I don't know, like to me, it's just natural. Like I'm used to it. But then like sometimes like I just feel like they get real vicious with you. So I told Mo, I'm like, I'm gonna ask him. I just want to know. Like
I just take it with a grain of salt. You really can't get mad at it. You know what I mean? Like if you want to make it in radio, you have to be humble. So that's what I do.
Well, I mean, they give what's his face Spanish just as much shit as they do you. So I mean, there you go.
Is there that type of like things that happen like within comics, like people sort of like teasing each other? Like does that happen amongst the comic world?
It does. I mean, it's weird. Like comics, like I said, so comics, it's almost cliquey. Like you almost always end up in like weird cliques. Like everyone knows each other. It's a very small, tight-knit community. And you have people who are like the top tier guys. And like those guys are real cool. They're kind of standoffish. You know, they got their own lives going on. Like it's weird. And then you have the guys like my level, like the mid-level. And, you know, we're all real cool and stuff, and we try to help the younger guys and kind of help them get in. And, like, as funny as it is probably to hear you say, but, like, Mo had come to me and he asked, you know, he wanted to get in. So, like, to me, you know, I respect Mo, you know, on an equal level as friends and stuff. But in the comic level, you know, he's a green boy. He's a new guy. Like, you know, he's brand new. So I'm trying to teach him, you know, how to do this. And, like I bust his balls so bad because of just some of the things. Like when he turned his first script in, I was like, "What is this? Like, what is this garbage?" You know. Like, and it wasn't that the writing was bad. The writing was actually really good, which is why I decided I would help him. It's just he has a really good story. I won't lie. Like the story is really, really good. But his formatting and writing a comic, you have to have a certain format, or the artist is just confused. It's so because you got to think like I get this all the time. Like my biggest hatred. I hate it. Like I can't stand it. There's these few little things. I don't know how this would, you know, relate to what you do, but I fucking hate it. I'm pretty sure you guys get the same kind of concept of like people going, "Oh, can I get free tickets?" or something of that nature.
Oh my God. Some dude messaged me 5 times this morning, "Can I get a free t-shirt?" I'm like, "Come by the bone." I don't know, dude.
I get hit up, random people I have not spoken to since high school hit me up on Facebook going, "Hey, bro, hook me up with some comic books." And I'm like, all right. And I'll send them to a link to, like, a comic book shop or something. And they'll be like, "What the hell's this?" And I'm like, "Go buy it." Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, they don't send me, like, comic companies, the big publishers, they send me, like, at max, I've been sent 5 copies of a book I've worked on for comps. Everything else is, like, you have to buy yourself. And people don't get that. But, yeah, it's really weird because I hate that. But the other thing I hate is the concept that we just kind of get to sit around our houses or our studios or whatever all day and dick off and play video games and watch TV or whatever. And I get people who are like, "Oh, you get to draw all day. I bet that's fun." And I'm like, "Yeah, until you're doing it for 16 hours. What?" And I'm like, "Do it for 16 hours and come back and tell me how easy it is." Because,
yeah, radio is the same thing. They think it's easy. Yeah, compared to being a coal miner, it's easy, but at the same time, it's work.
I don't agree with that, actually. Because the thing is there's a difference between mental and physical exhaustion. You know, and when you work just as hard with your brain as you do your body, it exhausts your body. So therefore, you're suffering. Your bones and your muscles won't ache in the same way, but it doesn't mean you're not any less tired or you work any less hard. And the other thing that I hate as a person who works on my own schedule is people assume because I have my own schedule, that means that me and my girlfriend get into this all the time. She'll be like, because she's a teacher, and she'll be like, "Oh, hey, can you run to the store and pick this up for me?" And I'm like, "Can you pick it up on your way home?" And she'll be like, "Well, you're home." And I'm like, "I'm working." And it's just one of those things where people always assume because you're working, you know, that you work from home or you work from a studio that you can just drop what you're doing and run off. But if you drop and do you drop what you're doing and run off, then you've lost. Even 10 minutes is a huge step back, you know, because it takes a lot to get into the artist mentality. That's why usually, like I said, I listen to Calta in the morning. It's been a nice little ritual. So I'll listen to Calta, I'll eat breakfast, you know, drink some coffee, maybe read the news or whatever while I'm listening, and it kind of gets me going. Then I'll do like some warm-up sketches and stuff like that, and then it gets me kind of moving. Whereas, like, you know, a lot of people I know, like there are guys I know who don't work at all during the day. They sleep all day. They work all night. It's just one of those weird things, and you get that, you know, that thing. So whenever people are coming up and they're trying to get into it, a lot of the stuff they just don't know. And the weird thing is that guys my level, I would say, and I'm going to make a broad estimate, but I'd say like a good 80% of them don't fucking care about new people. Like
Really?
They don't even try. Well, dude, when I got in, man, like when I came back, 'cause I did an internship back in 2001, but like whenever I came back to comics in 2010, they were so like it was like they were like didn't want to tell me anything. I'd be like, well, where do you get your books printed? Oh, well, you know, I have a guy, and, you know, well, and it's like they wouldn't give you any information, or what kind of paper do you use, or what kind of pencils do you use, or what kind of, because, you know, like there are people there who have no fucking idea how we do this, and it may sound insane to you, but there really are professional things, like they're you know, like, I guess, for instance, because I know a little bit about, at least enough, because I've worked in studios for, you know, a huge part of my life, that I know that you guys, for instance, aren't going to walk in there with a pair of cheap, you know, $5 headphones. Like, it's not going to make any sense to you. You're not going to get the sound quality you need when you're recording things.
Yeah.
Or, you know, doing radio. It's not going to make any sense. So it's the same thing with comics. Like, we have a particular grade of paper, there's a certain comic, we call them comic boards. They're not even called comic paper. It's called comic boards. And they're lined so that you have bleed lines so you know where to draw, where not to draw whenever you scan and you're doing printings, because, you know, it's that. Or the scale and stuff. And like, if people don't know that, like they'll come to me with like portfolios full of 8x11 printer paper, and they have fantastic artwork. And it's like, yeah, well, this is all great, but you can never use this. Why? Well, because it's, you know, it's not on this, it's not on this, so it won't transfer well over when you're trying to use it. You have to scan it this DPI. It's always technical stuff. And these guys, they just like sit on it like it's a big secret, and they don't want anyone to know. And I pissed them off because I trailblazed through for a good 5 years, got ahead of a lot of them, worked for some of the best companies in the world, and I tell all the secrets. I don't give a shit. Like, if some kid wants to make a comic book, who the fuck am I to tell them they can't?
Yeah.
You know, I hate that. Like, because you're scared that they're going to make a comic that's better than yours, or are you scared they're not going to buy your book anymore? Like, it's so stupid to me, because as a comic book writer and an artist and a creator and, you know, an entrepreneur in this business, in my estimate, dude, I spend hundreds of dollars a week on comic books. So it's like my buying habits didn't go away. They got worse once I got more into it, because I wanted to learn. Like, I buy a lot of stuff just for not just because I want to read it, but because, you know, it's reference material. It's something to learn from. You can only learn from, you know, looking at who is doing better than you even. So it's to me, yeah, like you get the same kind of stuff, but you bust their balls. Like, to me, it's a motivator. And that's what I was telling you when we talked privately, like, turn that negativity, that negativity that people throw at you into a motivator. Use it as a fuel for your engine. You know, people say you'll never host your own show. All right, well, cool. Let's see what happens. You know, no one knows what's going to happen in 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone doesn't give anybody enough credit. Like, I'm just going with the flow. Like, I want success so badly that I just keep on going, man.
Well, and that's the thing, man. It's all about being hungry. And everything I've heard about you, you know, Mo has lots of nice things to say about you.
Mo's my guy, man. He's had my back since day one. Everyone has, but Mo's a good guy, man.
Oh, I love Mo. He's great. Like, we sit here and just like I sent him a text last night. He got to see some of his pages, some of the art finally, and he's been just, you know, raving. He's so happy about it. And he'd said on the radio, he was talking about me doing the book on the radio, and a friend of mine told me, I actually didn't hear it, and he said, you know, could Martin draw? Because he didn't, you know, he was just being funny. And I sent him a text with that, and I'm like, in quotations, I'm like, can Martin draw? You know, like, I was like, you know, F you, man, seriously. And he was like, you know, whatever. But I love Mo. He's fun, dude. He's a cool guy. And, you know, it's just those genuine people. And that's the kind of people that will help uplift you. And to be honest, man, you're doing the right thing. Even if, like, they made you eat, you know, fettuccine or whatever, like, you're still busting your ass to do what you want to do. Everyone eats shit. or feet. I don't know, whatever you guys do over there. But everyone does it to grow. And you'll get people who are stupid and they don't understand, and they'll say that you're letting them push you around or whatever, but you're really just paying your dues, man. Getting into something you love should never be easy. Like, I never understood that mentality of people wanting things to be easy. Because to me, anything worth doing is never going to be easy. If it was easy, then everyone would be doing it. And that's the thing. Like, when you look at what you're doing, you're kicking ass, man. Even if it's not exactly what you want right now, once again, 5 years from now, you never know what you'll be doing.
Now,
it's all about
what I like about you two, man, is you bust your ass all the time. You don't care about what the people that hate on you say, and you're just a real person. So, like, where can people find your work online? Because I'm overwhelmed by how much you do, man. I look up to you, man. So, like, give us an overall direction of where people can find your work, because I want to spread it, man.
You can find almost everything through Comixology if you want to buy digital copies. Heroes Haven Comics in Tampa is my home base, if you will. Like Pete down there, I love him. He's always taking care of me. So if you want to buy any of my work, you go in there and say, hey, I want to buy something I heard on the Hoppe show, Martin Dunn's work. He'll point you to a direction. He's got an entire setup in there just for my work because, he's such a good guy. Let's see. You can go online. I mean, eBay's got a lot of stuff. I don't know. I mean, and honestly, this is something that a lot of people get surprised by. If you ever seek me out, find me on Twitter at mdunn82, and you buy something of mine, you want me to sign it, dude, I will, you can send it to me. I'll pay for it. I'll sign it for you and send it back to you. I don't care. A lot of people are like, oh, you don't charge for signatures? No, you bought the damn book. I'm gonna sign it for you. Let's see. You can see Comixology.com. You can search my name. There's CAEstudios.com, which is my publishing house, my studio that I work out of. We have a lot of stuff on there. We're everywhere, man. We're on YouTube. Really, if you Google Martin Dunn Comics, you'll find me. If you just Google Martin Dunn, you're going to get some editor for the New York Post, though. So that's not me.
Well, dude, keep up the good work, man. I love what you're doing. I'm trying to get more into comics and art because I'm a geek. I love Adult Swim. I own all the good shows they have on DVD. So I'm definitely going to check out your work, man.
I'll tell you what, because you love Adult Swim and because of the demographics, if you're a big fan of Adult Swim humor, I do a webcomic. It's free. This is the easiest thing for everybody. iFightGhosts.com. iFightGhosts.com.
All right.
It's a free webcomic. It's a one-page comic every Wednesday, and it's totally in the vein of everything you see on Adult Swim.
I'm on the website now. I like it.
Yeah, we're currently working on a cartoon to actually pitch to Adult Swim. So, that's one of the things that you can look out for. But like I said, that's free. So iFightGhosts.com, we're getting ready to do a Kickstarter to help fund some of that animation. So, you can look out for that. And, that's pretty much it. I'm everywhere. I'm at all the cons. I'll be at MegaCon in May. I'll be at Tampa Bay Comic-Con. I'm at Space Coast Comic-Con. I'm trying to think of Florida shows. And I'll be at Free Comic Book Day at Heroes Haven. I'll be there. So yeah, that's some of the stuff, but they're spread out so far in Florida. So and it's May. Free Comic Book Day is May 7th, which everyone should just go to a local comic shop because they give you free comic books. I mean, that's pretty amazing. You just go get free stuff. And yeah, I think that's actually the first thing I can think of in Florida that I'll be doing is Free Comic Book Day.
Well, dude, keep up the good work, and I would love to have you on the show sometime to get your take on the news. Because, man, you are great at ranting, bro. I respect it, man.
I told you I could eat a whole hour of ranting, bro. it's what I do this. They pay me money to go to panels, to go to conventions and sit on panels and do this for 2 hours. So... yeah.
That's it? You could do it for more hours, dude. You're legit, man.
Well, I appreciate it, man. And you did a good job. So
thank you, sir.
Like I said, turn that motivation or turn that hate into motivation. That's all you got to do.
Damn right, man. There's no time to keep the haters down or to keep yourself down because of them. So it's whatever.
What was someone had told me one time when I was working in hip hop, something that Twist they used to say was hate meant having anger. Was it having anger towards? I don't know. I fucking ruined that. It was a good, nice little inspirational thing. You know, and that's what it is, though. People who they just. I hate saying it because it sounds pretentious, but I feel like a lot of people who hate on you, they're just jealous because they can't have what you're doing.
Yeah, man. That's how I see it, too.
They can't do what you're doing. They can't do what you're doing. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, you took the words out of my mouth. I mean, people that hate on you have something going on in their life if they're doing that. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. I mean, you can look at it different perspectives and different things. And sometimes it could be just that someone is bitter, or it could be that someone just doesn't like what you're doing, which is also fine. I'm always telling people all the time that it's really one of those things of you have to accept that not everyone can like you.
That's what I'm accepting, dude. So, you know what I mean?
But yeah, man. I mean, thanks for having me on, and I'm more than willing to come back whenever you want me.
Sounds good, dude. Keep up the good work, man.
Yeah, for real, man.
All right, thanks, Martin.
No problem, brother.
All right, bye.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour.